So our next candidate is Kevin Fowler. Kevin, are you here? Yes, he is. Kevin is here. All right. Kevin is running in the Republican primary for county recorder. And I've met Kevin in the past and got to know him a little bit. And I'm real excited that he's here tonight to talk to you about the recorder's office, but more importantly, why is he running? And then after that, we'll have the other candidates running against him. So without further ado, Kevin Fowler. All right. Thank you, John.
Good evening. Before I start tonight, by the way, I am Kevin Fowler. 8 years ago, I ran for state senate. And the position I ran for covered the majority of Portage County and Summit County. I'm here tonight to basically tell you thank you for showing up in the numbers that you have. And Tom, thank you for your leadership in bringing this type of organization to where it is today. 8 years ago, I didn't speak in front of one audience that had this amount of attendance, not once. And I was running for state senate, and I even was at some points in Akron with some very large, what I thought was groups. So you're to be complimented. Thank you for coming. Okay, I feel pretty good about speaking tonight. Really was confident. And then I got here. And then I realized I had a problem. I've spoke to large crowds before, but they were crowds that were churches or corporate gatherings where I knew everybody was going to agree with me. And then I get a tap on my shoulder. And I turn around, and lo and behold, I realize that I'm also going to be speaking in front of an individual who has called me out numerous times in my life. And so I started to get a little nervous. That individual is Howard Furl. As a young man, he called me out far more times than he called me safe. He was the finest umpire that I ever had the privilege, and I still play baseball competitively, but he was the finest umpire and the fairest gentleman that to this day I've ever had the privilege of being on a baseball field with. He told me tonight he'd still like to ump again. And I'm thinking it's probably because he'd still like to call me out. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to take off my jacket. Tom, is it all right if I set this here? That way you guys can really see me sweat. What I hope to do is you've already got the explanation of what a county recorder is. Sort of makes me nervous too. Sheriff Doak, I agree with you. But what I hope to do tonight in brief overview is I would like to give you a little background on who I am. I obviously don't have the history of holding the office as Sheriff Doak does, but I do believe I have a history that when we're done this evening, I hope that you'll agree with me that I'm a candidate that you would like to support. I'd like to start with asking you a few questions. Do you want to stop excessive government spending? Okay. How many of you would like to have a government that has actually a common sense approach? You know, sort of like you and I on how we run our household or independent businesses, you know? I personally would. Here's another question. How would you like to have a voice and return to the representative government as our forefathers designed it to be? Howard, anytime you want to stand up and say amen, feel free. All right? You're welcome to do that. One last question. Do you believe that it's important to have elected officials that represent you, utilizing the basic principles of our founding fathers. I hope that maybe I can answer a few of those questions for you on where I stand. So let's go. First and foremost, I'm a lifelong resident of Portage County. I was born and raised in a little community not far from Howard Furl's home. I'm very proud to be from there. Upon graduation from high school, I became a resident of the county seat. And I've lived there and in this county my whole life. I've been married to my wife, Bridget, for 33 years. It's amazing that I've found somebody that could actually put up with me for that long. But I have. Hey, there you go. You're right. I have 4 daughters. My wife has 4 also, by the way. They are Rebecca, Sarah, Rachel, and Faith. What's real neat, I now have 7 grandchildren. Oh, by the way, I had 4 daughters. I now have 7 grandsons. Does God have a sense of humor or what? He really does. My professional career, I've been in the printing industry my whole life. I won't bore you with what I've done. Quite frankly, it's irrelevant. But I will tell you that over the last 7 years, I've been fortunate to lead an organization where I've been able to streamline our operations and build an organization which showed financial growth at a time that I think all of us would agree may be the biggest economical downturn that we've ever had in modern history. What's interesting about that is that required some leadership, which I believe applies to all career fields, including the political process. So what are those basic foundations? They are, you determine what your core purpose is. You work within the organization to streamline whatever your process is that you are attempting to do. You find out what your customers need and what their expectations are, then you go about meeting all of them. And most importantly, lesson number 1, you don't spend what you don't have. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on my community background. Some of you know me. Bill, is that you? Mr. and Mrs. Leninger, hello. But I will tell you, I have been in the leadership in the community for many years, especially with my churches. I have started several fellowships and helped them grow and be successful, have led several youth programs. Some of you may be familiar with the Awana Youth Program, which I believe is one of the finest youth programs in the world. And I've been fortunate and blessed to be a leader of one of those programs locally in this county. And so this isn't a church meeting, so I will go on. So now the question comes, why vote for me? Well, in humor, let me say this. I am running against 2 capable opponents, one in the primary that I hope to win. They are both women that are very capable. I know them very well, especially one of them. I can say this with confidence, though. I'm the best man for the job that's running for this office. All right, let's get serious. You know, it's real common for us to look at history and determine and get a glimpse of whether an individual, when confronted with similar challenges, is capable of the job that they're going to be performing. So what I've done is I've prepared a few bullet points that I think will give you a sort of a glimpse into me and where I stand and what I believe in. First and foremost, relationships and honor is very important to me. My wife and I, obviously, I've said earlier, married 33 years. When I said I do, I meant it. Fortunately, I have a wife that meant that too. And trust me, it was much harder for her. Today, I'm proud of the fact that I've been married that long. I'm proud of the fact that I married at the age of 18 against what the statistics say would not be successful. I'm proud of the fact that I started my family immediately. I'm proud of the fact that I had my family by the age of 25. I'm proud of the fact that I built a professional career by utilizing an apprenticeship program, which saddens me because it's non-existent today. You have to get a college education to be able to accomplish what I accomplished today. But I'm proud of the fact that I was able to do that. I'm proud that I raised 4 children with my wife to be mature young adults that are contributing to this society. They're independent, and most importantly, generally speaking, I've sort of withstood the test of time in the trials in my life. Oh, by the way, I have made mistakes. I'm sure you have too, but I've tried to learn. I understand and value the importance of commitment to a cause and consistency that must come with this lifestyle. I will respect the relationship of this representative process. With a correct understanding, this commitment is to you, the ones that hire me. Fundamental change is necessary. I know you don't like to hear this, but the only change in life is constant change. That's the only thing we have. Change is the only constant in life. However, change must be built on a foundation that is known and proven. In my career, I've been tasked with the responsibility to implement change and avert impending loss. That's what I've done for a living for the last 20 years. We must elect leaders that will change our offices. Yes, I love the party I belong to, but we must change our party. And most importantly, we must change our county. History shows that I've been that for my family and my employer. I will be a gatekeeper that will construct a future for us that will be built on proven ethical standards that honors our representative system. I'm a big picture type of guy. I'm not going to spend a lot of the time on this, but I will say this. I'm not a person that's going to be swayed by PACs. I'm not going to be swayed by parties. And oh, by the way, I may not be swayed by you. And I hope you're okay with that. But there's a reason for that. I will say no if there is a request for something that is fundamentally against what I know to be a principle of common ethical practice, basic principles of our founding fathers, and not representative of those that I represent. I will make tough decisions. I live within my means. My credit history proves that. I live within my means. Take a look at it. It's public record. That's on a personal basis and a professional basis. My career also shows that I build a profitable organization that must stay within its budgetary stipulations in order to be profitable. The past 5 years has been the most difficult economic times in our era. Most companies were struggling to survive in all sectors, and in my industry in particular, where a staggering 35% of all printing companies in this country went out of business. And nobody even knows. However, the company that I am a part of and was blessed to lead, during our leadership over the last 7 years, we grew our gross profit as an organization 27%. We must make fundamental changes that will directly impact our bottom line and maximize investments. There's no sugarcoating this. Bottom line, I will use your tax dollars wisely. I hope that's important to you. I will maximize our performance. I will tell you, I'm not a believer in raising taxes to fund my spending habits. We must have guiding principles to guide us in our life. There are a few that I'd like to mention. We cannot let our elected officials be bought through money and political favors. The days of running a system of favors within our judicial and political representatives can't continue. And ladies and gentlemen, our system is broke, and it's not broke due to the people who are holding office. It's broke because we've allowed our representative system to deteriorate. The representative system is no longer you. Over the last 20 years, the representative system has become the PACs and the parties and the providers of money. I'm so glad you're here tonight because I think time is to change. I believe that having a cooperative mindset toward our fellow man is critical. I know, and I think you want new businesses that's beneficial to you in this community, in this county, and I will do my part in the role that I play to help them become a part of this community. In closing, I would like to restate our country's at a pinnacle. It's at a tipping point. No mistake about it. But before I start, I would like to say, for those of you who still may not get where I'm coming from, my son-in-law happens to be a professor at Hillsdale College. Political science, ironically. You'd think I'd know better. My view of government really doesn't differ much from the principles of this fine university. If you don't know of Hillsdale College, do some research. I challenge you. Representative government, as it was established by our founding fathers, is in jeopardy. It's been perverted, and it's been changed over the last 15 to 20 years dramatically. Our forefathers established our representative government in such a manner so it functions from the individual communities. That's why we have precinct committee people. It's supposed to work from the precinct up. And it's supposed to be carried up through government. Do you sort of get where I'm coming from? Howard, can I hear an amen? Amen. Right? That's the way it's supposed to work. Do you feel it's working this way? Okay, so it's been perverted. It's been destroyed. We've got to change that. So, our forefathers established this representative government, so it works that way. Unfortunately, special interest groups, our parties, and other entities have changed this process. They're demanding that they become the representative rather than you, and are doing so with money and power. Their focus isn't whether their goals are ethical, principled, or the desire of the whole. In fact, many of these groups are in the minority, but they're getting the votes. They aren't ethical, nor do they have fundamentally sound systems. Their purpose is typically related to power and money. That's what it is. This day, this year, This is what I call you to personally make a decision on how you will vote. I believe you desire to be represented in a manner I've just stated. If so, I ask you to begin to change our world today. I hope and I ask for your vote. I believe you'll be one step closer to accomplishing this. That you have my promise. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.